Welcome back, everybody. This is Eric here with Iraq Veteran 8888. Today, I have a very special presentation for you. This is going to be our first episode of State of the 2A with Erich Pratt. And this is going to be an awesome conversation. Thanks for joining me, Eric.
Hey, it's great to be with you, Eric. Thanks for having me. Look forward to being with you on episodes like this.
Absolutely. And I really appreciate the work that GOA is doing. And I'm very proud to be the Georgia State Director and really love the organization, love the work that we're collectively doing. And I know today, Eric, we're going to be talking about revocations. And it's been kind of silly. You know, the ATF's been going full ham here lately, haven't they?
Well, absolutely. I mean, the Biden administration, really, they've weaponized the ATF to put gun dealers out of business. And they're doing it at rates that we haven't seen in decades. They're trying to make it harder for Americans to buy firearms, which is exactly what Biden and the anti-gun left want. But, you know, here's how they're perverting the law. If a gun store engages in willful violations, they can have their license revoked. That's what federal law says. But then the ATF says, well, you know, we gave you a thick manual years ago that you should have read. So any mistakes you make, no matter how minimal or how clerical the mistakes, we're considering these willful violations. Now, you know, ATF hasn't always treated gun dealers this way, but that's what they're doing under Joe Biden, who, you know, as you know, is the most anti-gun president we've ever had. So the ATF is revoking gun dealers' licenses for things like accidentally inverting numbers or putting a number in the wrong box. I mean, none of this involves bad guys getting guns. In fact, Eric, I'm aware of a gun store that's facing a revocation hearing, and they failed to write the transaction number in the provided box, but they stapled the transaction approval for the sale. You know, in other words, from NICS, they stapled it to the paperwork. So it was there. They just didn't write it in the correct box. And for that's being used against them as a willful violation. I mean, this is such an unrealistic standard that if it was applied to the ATF, they would be put out of business because they've been shown to make those same errors too. But, you know, Eric, this is just one of the many reasons that GOA is working with Congress to defund them, to put them out of business, and why we're taking them to court in different places around the country.
Well, the ATF has actually lied and falsified records in the past. I mean, look at everything that went on with Fast and Furious, that gun running operation, which resulted in the death of at least one Border Patrol agent that I know of. So they're not exactly squeaky clean themselves. I mean, there's a lot of errors on government paperwork. And if think about other regulatory agencies, which we won't really get into a lot of detail here today, Eric, but I can't imagine, that some paperwork involving the EPA or something like that, you know, if you had some tiny little issue that they would go, well, that's it, Dow, you're shut down completely. Like, nah, it doesn't work that way. I mean, look, we're all human. We all make mistakes, and we're all, you know, capable of making a mistake, especially, I mean, think about it. I've worked at a gun store for years. Now I don't anymore. I do the YouTube channel full time, but I've held up a counter for many a time. And I can tell you, it can be stressful sometimes working in a gun shop. Look, we're all human. We're all hungry. We're ready for lunch. We got a line of people. I'm not saying that's an excuse, but we're all human beings, right? We are trying to do everything to the best of our ability to pay due diligence to what we have to do with this paperwork. I mean, the failure to accidentally cross a T or dot an I, should that shut down a person who has given their whole livelihood to this endeavor? I mean, it is expensive to run a gun store. You've got overhead and rent. You've got to keep your employees paid. You've got to purchase inventory. You're heavily regulated, right? It's extremely stressful to have to deal with all the extra regulatory headache of running a gun store. So we're all human. And it just seems that in the past, the ATF has been much more willing to kind of go, hey, we get it. You know, here are the things that we've identified. Look, we'll move on with life. We're all human. But now it's like, nope, they're taking the tiniest little issue and turning a molehill into a mountain over this. It's just incredulous.
Yeah, you know, to use your example about the EPA, I'm certainly not aware of any zero tolerance policy where they're going after the EPA like that. And it's clear that they're going after their political opponents. They're trying to put gun owners and gun dealers out of business, make it more difficult for Americans to exercise their Second Amendment rights. That's really what this is all about. And, again, if we were to apply this same standard to the ATF, I mean, the agency has lost track of thousands of firearms from their Martinsburg headquarters. I mean, we ultimately found out one of the reasons why they lost track of those guns, they were stolen by rogue agents. But when it became apparent that these guns were missing, they said, oh, well, we destroyed the firearms. They actually falsified documents to say that they had destroyed these weapons, and it was only uncovered that they lied when these guns were discovered on the street. I mean, it is so treacherous. I mean, so their mistakes have actually resulted in bad guys getting guns, and yet, they're applying a totally different standard to dealers who are simply making clerical errors. None of the guns are getting into bad guys' hands, and yet they're putting them out of business with a zero tolerance vengeance. I mean, it's really sick what they're doing. I mean, not only are they trying to destroy the Second Amendment, they're hurting, individuals. It's their livelihood, it's their jobs. This involves families. I mean, there's a ripple effect. Every time a business goes out of business, there's other businesses that get affected because, you have fewer people at the supermarket, fewer people getting dry clean. I mean, there's a huge ripple effect here. They don't care about any of that because this is their political opponents that they're going after. And I tell you, Eric, I mean, we've got to strike back against this. We've taken the ATF to court in North Dakota. We have a suit against them with our Caliber Club gun dealers all around the country, thousands of gun stores, and we are challenging this zero tolerance policy specifically in North Dakota, but then representing gun dealers around the country, because we've got to put a stop to this.
Well, Pratt, the truth is, you and I would be under Leavenworth if we did half of the things that they did. And I tell you what, I have an antidote for their arrogance, okay? We are going to sue them too, all right? I have an FFL coalition that I'm putting together, right? And Argos Ordinance, me, Eric Lamford, I'll sign my name right on the dotted line. I don't care. They know who I am. That is cool, right? We have an FFL coalition, and we are taking them to court. Absolutely taking them to court. And
that's fantastic.
Those of you out there, if you are a gun dealer and you're worried about these revocations, if you think that ATF has been unfairly targeting you or harassing you, maybe you've received letters or phone calls, or maybe you've had a recent audit and you feel like things are just really scary for you, and you think that you might be subject to a revocation, especially over some really dumb crap like a little spelling error or a minor human typographical error, I want to know. I want you to reach out to me on Twitter. And if you have an FFL and you want to sign on to our coalition, all you have to do is contact me and we will add you to the lawsuit. But here's the thing. You can have, a complete level of anonymous status, okay? They don't have to know who you are. All we need to know is have you on in support of our efforts. We need as many gun dealers as we can to sign on to our lawsuit, because we are going to light a fire in their pants, boys and girls. That I can promise you.
I love it. We need to bring challenges all around the country, Eric, and I applaud what you're doing. Thank you for doing that. We need zero tolerance for the ATF. One mistake, let's put them out of business. We need to start taking them to court, because it's ridiculous, the standard that basically they're weaponizing human mistakes and using it against people. And I encourage any FFL that's listening, please reach out to Eric. This is, fantastic. This is the way that we put a stop to this, is by taking them to court and making them defend themselves all around the country. So thank you, Eric.
We have to stick together. It's really important. Y'all can reach out to me on Twitter at IraqVeteran8888. Send me a DM. My DMs are always open. Look, if you troll me and send me a bunch of crap, I'm going to give you some crap about it. All right. Only real inquiries. Okay. No bull crap, but reach out to me and we will get you on this lawsuit. We want to file as soon as possible, because we want to light a fire in their britches, boys and girls. And I hope everybody enjoyed today's presentation. Erich, thank you so much for joining me here.
Absolutely.
I want to make this a monthly thing. Can we do that every month?
Let's do it. I'd love to.
Yeah. So this is going to be an ongoing State of the 2A with Erich Pratt. So look forward to this every month. We'll get to these as soon as we can, and we'll give you updates on what's going on. And look, hold us accountable. Is there something we're not doing? Is there something we can do better? How can we make your life better as a gun owner? We want to know, because we want to know how best to serve the gun owners at large, especially if you're a GOA member. Now, of course, we would love for you to join GOA. If you're not a member of GOA, you can use my link down below, especially if you're in Georgia. Now, look, the boss is sitting here. I gotta do my pitch, okay? Like, if you're in Georgia, we want you as a member of GOA, because, quite frankly, look, I want the Georgia numbers to be higher than these numbers. So help me boost those Georgia numbers, boys and girls, and I would definitely appreciate it. So thank you all very much for tuning in. And Erich, have yourself a wonderful day. I appreciate
you too, Erich.
All right. We'll see y'all soon. Many more on the way. Have a good day. We're out.